A movie that gives us a return to the retro talk show feel of the 70s has been making a lot of points among horror fans this year. A popular late-night talk show host aired a Halloween special that went down in history, and has only now been released to the public with never-before-seen footage. This is my review of Late Night with the Devil. The first thing I have to say about this film is, holy shit! There's a lot of studios involved here. The movie begins in 1971. According to the Michael Ironside narration we're given, with the debut of the show Night Owls, hosted by Jack Delroy, played by David Dastmalchian. Over the next 5 years, Jack's show really takes off among viewers, but can't quite reach the heights of Johnny Carson. It's in 1976 that tragedy strikes when Jack's wife, Madeline, played by Georgina Haig, is diagnosed with lung cancer. After her death, Jack all but disappears from public view, but returns to late-night television not long after. Unfortunately, his ratings aren't doing well, so he plans a special episode for Halloween.
What you are about to see is the recently discovered master tape of what went to air that night, as well as previously unreleased behind-the-scenes footage. It is the live TV event that shocked a nation.
The show starts in a pretty typical fashion, and we're introduced to Gus, played by Rhys Auteri. We're also given a rundown on what this episode will provide, including the first guest, psychic medium Christu, played by Faisal Bazi, who attempts some cold readings on the audience. This doesn't go so well until he speaks with a mother and a daughter about a deceased family member. Obviously, this whole thing is rather laughable until Christu makes contact with a particularly strong spirit, going by the name Minnie. This doesn't ring a bell with anyone, but it's a disconcerting display all the same, and Christu does not appear to be faking this. After a brief commercial break, another guest is introduced. Carmichael Haig, played by Ian Bliss, a former conjurer turned skeptic. He's one of the founders of an organization that studies and seeks to disprove certain people that make supernatural claims. Putting someone like that next to a medium is going to turn out real well. Jack does defend Christu to some degree by revealing that Minnie is the private nickname for his wife. This is why it never pays to get front row seats, people. Although it is different from the Reagan routine, so I have to give him that. Christu is taken away, and Carmichael still isn't impressed by any of this.
I'd have thought your high-powered friends at the Grove could pull a few strings.
I think you overestimate their influence.
I'd love to know if the rumors are true, the secret handshakes, the orgies, the arcane ceremonies, but
I'm just gonna throw this out there. But being part of some secret special club probably didn't look too good during the time of the Manson family. After the break is over, some footage of the first church of Abraxas is shown. This is a group of demon worshippers, led by Xander Diabo, played by Steve Mazakis, who end up lighting themselves and their house on fire when confronted by the police.
Among the smoldering ruins, a terrified 10-year-old girl is discovered. She goes only by the name of Lily.
Since Lily, played by Ingrid Torelli, exhibited unexplained behavior, she was sent to Dr. June Ross Mitchell, played by Laura Gordon, to work with, and June essentially adopted her. Lily is creepy pretty much as soon as she skips out onto the stage. Her tendency to do this certainly doesn't make it any better.
No ma'am. No ma'am.
During the break, June warns Jack that Lily has been more unpredictable lately, and has even been calling for Jack. It just gets worse because Leo, played by Josh Kwong Tart, tells Jack that Christu is dead. Spewing up black goo on live television is great for the ratings, but dying of a hemorrhage during an ambulance ride? Not so much. But the show must go on. So when they return from the commercial break, Jack continues his interview with June and Lily. All the while, Carmichael is highly dismissive and even mocking about June's claims that Lily is possessed by a demon. Or, as Lily calls him, Mr. Wiggles.
Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
Ah, sorry, that's Wriggles, not Wiggles, who, as it turns out, is present on set. So like a proper TV host, Jack asks if they could talk to Mr. Wriggles directly. Though June is very much against this, she gets peer pressured by Jack, Lily, and even the audience to make contact. Even Gus voices his disapproval of what they're about to do, but he's ignored in favor of the ratings this could give them.
Good to see you again, Jack.
As you can guess, summoning a demon live on a talk show doesn't go great. All the same, June does regain control of the situation with Lily. Time for another commercial break, so Leo can tell Jack that these events are reviving the show as they speak. This is great news, but Jack swears that during the little possession session, he heard Madeline's voice. No time to delve into that because the break is over, and Carmichael is determined to prove that what we just saw was faked. To do so, he puts Gus into a trance.
Bring her here. Awake!
This mass hypnosis is confirmed by reviewing the tape, so to prove the validity of Mr. Wriggles, Lily suggests they check the footage of the possession. Not only does it show Mr. Wriggles, but it also shows the presence of Madeline. It's at this point that shit really hits the fan. You know, a late-night talk show does seem like a terrible purgatory. In Jack's personal hell here, we learn what really goes on at the Grove. Specifically, what he did to reach success. Yeah, I don't know why anyone would assume weird cult-like shit happens at this place. This is Jack's sacrifice for fame, which is also the death of Lily. And with the song Keep It Warm by Flo and Eddie, the credits roll. The lengths that were taken to make this look like it was filmed during the 70s are impressive. You can tell by how clean in HD the footage is that it wasn't, but things like the graininess, green-blue aura around certain things, and even the aspect ratio set the right mood. Speaking of, the aspect ratio changes according to what type of footage we're seeing, or not footage. The last time I saw that was with X. Speaking of setting the right mood, the set design, music, and wardrobe fit right in. The score and soundtrack, composed primarily by Glenn Richards, immediately gave me retro vibes. Surprisingly enough, the effects are kept pretty subtle, with a few exceptions. The practical stuff looks quite good, and for the most part, so does the digital, though that can look a little cheesy once in a while, like when Christu is throwing up. There's rewatchability here for sure. I caught little things while watching the film the first time, but I caught a few more during the rewatch for this review. It's quite fun to search for things while watching the movie. The acting is quite good here, with people putting a lot of effort in. The standouts to me, naturally, are David Dastmalchian and Ingrid Torelli. Dastmalchian did excellent in embodying nearly every late-night talk show host we've ever seen. He provides that seemingly charming and likable persona, with something kind of slimy hidden underneath. Torelli was properly unsettling, and that was without the Exorcist-like makeup and demonic voice. And with it, it's only amplified. I like the introduction because it felt like a legitimate documentary. It provides the information we need to grasp the character of Jack, and why he does what he does immediately, that we likely would have gotten from exposition inserts that would have been out of place. I'll admit that the climax felt a little cheesy, both in regards to the digital effects and the events. Suspending some disbelief, it's not too bad. Some people have pointed out that one reason why it looks the way it does is to pay homage to how effects looked during the 70s. I'm not sure how much I believe that angle, but I'm not upset about it. This is another film that's more on the slow burn side of things. It's gonna take a bit before some really interesting moments happen. This isn't an action-packed horror movie. With all that being said, I'm giving Late Night with the Devil 7.5 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. Overall, I'm rather impressed by this indie film. I was intrigued by it to begin with, and I think it met my expectations. This probably won't end up being my favorite from this year, but it should be pretty high on my list. There might have been 2 jump scares in this whole film, and if you're someone who hates cheap jump scares, then you should appreciate that. It relies far more on building tension and intrigue for the viewer. Something that I should talk about is that AI was used during the making of this film. According to the creators of the film, it was 3 or more generated images specifically. Once this was found out, it caused a little bit of a controversy with people online. Some people even went so far as to boycott the movie completely. Do I wish that the creators had hired an artist to create these images instead? Yeah, but I have no idea what went into the creation of this film, so I can't judge. I also wanted to touch on a bit of a misconception that a lot of people have in regards to this movie. It's not found footage. It's a mockumentary. And if you have that in mind when you first watch it, I think it loosens up your expectations a bit. I still think this is a quality horror movie with lots of creativity both behind and in front of the camera, and that can't be discounted. I would recommend Late Night with the Devil to fans of mockumentary films, those who enjoy real-life paranormal stories, 70s aesthetic enthusiasts, and anyone who needs a good double feature to go along with Ghost Watch. See you later. If you're looking for more demonic films, then check out my reviews of these movies. Thank you to my patrons Michael Musale, Bronson Wright Wolf, Diana Mo, Sean Sheridan, Raiders AK, Angel X Minx 88, and Tyler Adams for supporting the channel.